Appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court.
Man, do we live in a wild time. This guy legitimately ruined his life. This guy jumped on the judge like a prime Troy Polamalu running down the field making a tackle. I mean, this guy was mad at this judge now. Originally, this guy hurt someone causing bodily harm. And, you know, right there in that video, you saw the judge was about to give him his sentence to 14 to 49 months. So basically, 1 to 4 years in prison for that. Usually any man that's getting sentenced, they take that on the chin, you know what I'm saying? They do their time because they did the crime. Now, this guy, that wasn't his first offense. He's a past offender. He tried, you know, talking himself in court like, you know, like he was a good person, like he was about to change. And she was still gonna sentence him regardless, you know, because that's what judges do, you know, their job. And he wasn't feeling it and did this. Now, obviously, they put him in prison for doing this because, you know, he jumped on a judge. Now, I had some people tell me they kind of feel bad for this guy because they put him in jail looking like a shackled up villain from some cartoon comic book. Now, look, I mean, he looks like a Scooby-Doo character villain here. Take the mask off. Who is it? It's him. Now, he showed up to court the next day. I don't even know if it was the next day. He showed up to court, though, after they brought him in the prison. As you could see, he's in the jumpsuit here. And while in court, the judge gave him his 4 years. You know, that's the original sentence.
Good morning. All right, this is on for the continuation of Mr. Redden's sentencing.
So yeah, that was for the first charge. He was originally going to get 1 to 4 years, and they ended up giving him 4 years for the first charge. Now, the first charge. You see why I keep saying the first charge? Because, you know, he did jump the judge. And they added a bunch of charges on top of that. But before we get to that, Judge Judy, she actually put her input in on this situation, and it's actually quite dark what she had to say. I'm not going to lie.
Shocked that this defendant managed to get as far as he did without somebody shooting him. But it probably happened in a second.
So fast.
That they, you know, once he was there, there were too many people. But I was actually shocked that somebody managed to get as close to her and on top of.
Yeah, Judge Judy, let's result to popping the man. You know, listen, I get it. He jumped on the judge. It's really a wrong thing to do, and I get it. You were a judge too, Judge Judy. It probably strikes you somewhere where it hurts. But it probably strikes you in the heart, Judge Judy, that a judge, a girl judge at that, because you are a female judge. You know, there's not that many female judges out there. And a female judge at that, you saw her get jumped, and you're like, oh my gosh. How did this man not get popped? Now listen, did they pop Jeffrey Dahmer when they found him? No. Listen, that's the most heinous crimes I could think of. Did they pop Ted Bundy when they found him? No. You know what? That's another most heinous crimes I could think of. No, they didn't pop these guys when they found them. Now, when I'm saying pop, you know what I'm talking about. Pop. Pop. Now, in no way, shape, or form was it okay for this guy to onto the judge. Not at all. In my opinion, it was pretty stupid. But for Judge Judy to say this man should get popped for doing that really shows her true colors. But enough with that old expired hag. We gotta talk about these new charges, and there's a lot of them. And honestly, after looking at these charges and looking at the time this guy's gonna get, I would have rather have got popped and, you know, my time just be done right there than the time I'm gonna have to do after jumping the judge.
You're being charged with count 1, attempt murder, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony. Count 2, battery on a protected person resulting in substantial bodily harm, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony. Count 3, extortion by threat, a felony. Count 4, intimidating a public officer, a felony. Count 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all battery on an officer, the same named victim. Oh, and by the way, I do not know any of the other victims named in the criminal complaint. Those are all felony offenses. Count 10, performance of act or neglect of duty in willful or wanton disregard of safety or persons of property resulting in substantial bodily harm or death, a felony. Battery on a protected person, count 11, that's a gross misdemeanor offense. Count 12, battery by a prisoner, a felony. Count 13, unlawful act related to human excrement or bodily fluid, a felony. All allegedly occurring on January 3rd of 2024. Do you understand these charges?
So yeah, this man started off his 2024 with 13, well really 14 felonies, counting the first charge he had, where he was originally going to get 4 years. Now, 13 new felonies. Now, I'm not going to say just 4 because what he did was completely wrong, but for jumping the judge, they gave him 13 new felonies. Now, no, these aren't misdemeanor charges. No, these are felony charges. Now, if we look through all these, and count up the years. Now, obviously, we know this guy is getting life. Now, I'm going to put in the extra work and look through all these charges and really see how much years this guy's going to get. But yeah, I mean, he's getting a life sentence for this, 100%. And when you listen to the charges slowed down, in normal time, the video's like a minute long, normal time, and just charges of this judge just spazzing out charges, spewing them out.
A felony.
Judge is just spewing out felonies. And when you listen to it slowed down, if you're a human being, you kind of, you get some sympathy for this guy right here, because it was originally supposed to be 4 years, and it turned into a life sentence, bro.
Count 1, attempt murder, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony. Count 2, battery on a protected person resulting in substantial bodily harm, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony. Count 3, extortion by threat, a felony. Count 4, intimidating a public officer, a felony. Count 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all battery on an officer, the same named victim. Oh, and by the way, I do not know any of the other victims named in the criminal complaint. Those are all felony offenses. Count 10, performance of act or neglect of duty and willful or wanton disregard of safety or persons of property resulting in substantial bodily harm or death, a felony. Battery on a protected person, count 11, that's a gross misdemeanor offense.
My fault. 1 gross misdemeanor, 12 felonies.
Count 12, battery by a prisoner, a felony. Count 13, unlawful act related to human excrement or bodily fluid, a felony.
So this man, and I'm not even lying, hit a record. He went from 4 years, and if he gets all the maxes, which I doubt he'll get all the max sentences, but potentially he could, which I hope he doesn't, but I did the math for this only. If he gets all the max sentences for those felonies and that 1 misdemeanor, he could face up to 156 years. 156 years. And I think the oldest person to ever live was like 122. So yeah, that's a life sentence and a half. Or 2 life sentences if you want to look. Multiple life sentences. I think a life sentence actually is like 30 years in some places. So, bro, he's screwed. Yes, he brought this upon himself. I'm not even in this guy's family, and I wish that he never did this to the judge, because he got completely screwed over. I mean, just completely, yeah. There's not really much else I could say, except this guy will not be seeing sunlight outside of a prison. Basically what I'm trying to say is this guy will not be getting out of prison, what I think. And I'm not no special judge, I'm not no court system specialist or anything, but those charges that I just heard, those 13 charges that they added on, yeah, I don't think there's any possible way he gets out at all.